Don't tell me that he's trying to hack the motherboard. We'll get him every time. It's been 24 years. Some of you out there are younger than this show. Do you even know who I'm supposed to be? Well, I'll tell you. But lovers, that's my intro. I think it's pretty neat. Welcome back to the Lore series, where we overanalyze shows no one else is brave enough to. And that is especially true now. CYBERCHASE is a PBS kids show that ran from 2002 to 2024. And it's possibly still going. As of right now, there are 15 seasons comprised of 148 episodes. And I watched every single one. As always, although the shows I cover are for kids, my videos are not. I actually do cuss a little. Middle finger SpongeBob. Woo! No sponsor for this video. I just wanted to let you know I have an animatronic from Great Wolf Lodge. Wow. I've actually been to every single Great Wolf Lodge and made my favorite video ever about it. And if you're still not interested, what? Lincoln? How about now? 1, 2, 3. The first episode, Lost My Marbles, wastes no time. It moves so fast, I felt like I was losing my marbles. Like the name. These blue contacts are also making me lose my marbles. I might ditch them halfway through. Would you guys be mad? I can't see. We meet the villain, Hacker. The Hacker. Whatever.
Okay, there's this really bad dude named Hacker. The Hacker. Whatever.
The Hacker is voiced by the very talented, well-loved Christopher Lloyd, best known for playing Doc Brown in Back to the Future. This green cyborg goblin, the Hacker, somehow knew these three Earth kids were the key to breaking through Motherboard's firewall or something like that. It's never explained. All you have to know are these three kids are the chosen ones. And you don't really question it because there's a whole lot of science rigmarole thrown at you all at once. Futuristic nonsense. I rewatched the first 7 minutes of this first episode a handful of times before finally accepting that me unable to grasp what's going on is kind of the point. It's the hook of the series. What the fuck is this Gilbert Gottfried bird? How did Dr. Marbles get kidnapped so quickly? Why is Motherboard so important? Is she like the opposite of Mother Nature? Mother Technology? All we know for a fact is that she is mothering. We see the kids Jackie, Matt, and Inez on Earth for 2 seconds. They're in this library room testing out some new tech. It's unclear why. They're just pointing at classrooms or rooms they need to get to, I think. But then the lights on the screen collide. They FaceTime with Motherboard, they think she's the FBI, and then they're sucked into cyberspace. I think the art style is how I got into this series. The overdone textures of everything in space. Even some of the setting that's 2D looks three-dimensional. I was trying to find a specific aesthetic, but it's really hard to pin down. That's how you know it's good. Dare I say there's elements of cubism? I honestly cannot stop seeing Hacker in this piece from 1915. Do you guys see it too? Am I losing it? Cubism? More like, fuck you-bism. I'm no square. And with how much the sci-fi genre has boomed in popularity, it's incredible that these spaceships and character designs still feel as unique as they do. And don't get me started on the SKWAK pad, dude. This thing looks sick. Why is my phone so boring? I wish I had my own SKWAK pad. Oh wait, I do. Shout out to good friend of the channel, Aunt Dina. Oh, there she is. Hi, Dina. You guys should subscribe to her. I mean, she absolutely killed it. You know what? Now put me on the SKWAK pad saying, Hacker alert! Like how she does on the show. Incredible. Motherboard sends these kids to find Dr. Marbles. And Inez is very hesitant, saying she doesn't even know the other two like that. Wild. I always thought these three were friends. They just met. It just occurred to me that as much as I watched this show as a kid, I don't think I've ever seen the first episode until now. This island they were sent to almost kills them the moment they arrive. And we suspensefully cut to commercial break. I'm on the edge of my seat. I will not be advertised to while I'm worried about these kids. How dare they think I'm in a mindset to buy anything at a time like this?
Broken. Busted.
Don't call me that.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the new Mighty Putty Super Pack.
Hi, how many of these am I able to order at once? Okay, I'll take 40. Where was I? Oh yeah, since Motherboard is broken and busted, she forgot to mention that this island has hurricanes at sunset. And it will completely turn itself inside out. Maybe Inez was right to not immediately trust her. What the hell? We hear Digit, the Gilbert Gottfried bird's tragic backstory. He used to work for the hacker before Motherboard saved him. Digit feels so bad over this. Like, you can't help how you were made, dude. Hacker tries to sabotage the group by surrounding them with a thick fog. He succeeds in splitting them up, but luckily, our cyber squad uses the SKWAK pad to communicate and label a grid around the landmarks so they can properly describe where they are. The kids save Dr. Marbles, and as the island reformats, they leave this cyber site. I love how committed they are to the tech terms. Reformatting? Brilliant. Hacker needs to recharge as we see his pen pocket beep and blink. I don't believe there is any organic life. This world is all code. AI if it didn't suck ass. By the second episode, Casablanca, I was still adjusting to the way these tech creatures talk. I had to turn on the captions just to process what was being said, which did absolutely nothing for my comprehension.
You can bet your baud rate on it, Motherboard.
You what?
Uh-oh, backspace.
I admired the big swing this show took right at the start. They really made the characters feel not human. Casablanca being another world in cyberspace makes this universe feel very varied. This is like a Halloween town type place. Witches, werewolves, even Dracula.
Welcome to my castle!
That's not Hacker. It's Dracula! Ah!
A building with a giant mouth and tongue. A huge variety of monsters with nothing recognizably machine-like about them, except for this gnome with his metal body, bolts, and little grabby hands. The hacker's evil plan this episode is to put the intelligence of Dr. Marbles into Gigabyte, a robot monster he created. Dude is playing God. He even said, "Let there be life." Hacker was only unsuccessful because of his idiot henchmen, Buzz and Elite. Two of my favorite characters. They kept breaking mirrors that were supposed to reflect the rays from the moon, or whatever sci-fi thing was supposed to happen. That plus 7 years of bad luck, Hacker can never catch a break. Other than his objective of sheer power, why is Hacker evil anyway? They hold on to Hacker's true motivation for a surprisingly long time. One way they continue to undermine the Hacker is by revealing his baldness to the world. It's a very sensitive subject for him. Episode 3, Our Fair City, opens with Digit, aka Gilbert Gottfried Bird Droid, which is called a Boyd. Cute. Digit is monologuing about the few things I do know about the series so far.
My mission? Protect Motherboard, help Marble, and keep cyberspace safe from Hacker. Woo! That's a lot of mission for a guide.
Thank you for the recap. Digit is very stressed out about his mission to help Motherboard, despite being of very little help so far. So he accepts an invitation to Our Fair City. R like the letter R, fair like carnival fair city, but it sounds like Our Fair City. Ha ha ha, he he he. One of the virtual carnival games is run by the Hacker in disguise. I hate to admit it, but Hacker's drag name is fire. Madam Incognita? That's hot. Literally spelling out that your identity is hidden. Digit walked into a trap essentially labeled trap. It makes me root for Hacker a bit. Rewind, or as they'd say in this world, backspace.
Backspace?
We have a father and child getting scammed by henchmen, and they look so familiar to me. This is the shit I thought of when I was reminiscing about this show. Their design screams sci-fi silliness. Why do they have the number 7 on them? What are they? We don't know. Yet. Back to Digit being played like a fiddle. Hacker / Madam Incognita didn't have to drag this capture out as long as he did, but dude clearly loves the theatrics. The carnival game is picking 2 Zergons out of a hat, and if the numbers on them are multiplied into an even number, Digit gets dunked. This is said so casually. Zergons, bro? They're not little plushies. These creatures blink. They're alive, or as alive as you can be in this virtual world. Are these creatures created by Hacker? He created these things just to be props when he could have written these numbers down on digital paper or something? This dude is sick. He really is evil. This episode is all about probability. They really should have talked about the dangers of gambling.
I'll flip you for the ride. Heads, you win. You get a free ride. Tails, you lose. You wash my cab.
Wash your cab?
Come on, Inez, take a chance. Only two ways it can land, heads or tails, right? Correct. And, heads comes up just as often as tails.
So, half the time we'll win, and half the time Lucky wins. That's fair.
I don't know, dude. Isn't it weird that Digit is in trouble? Mother is still a glitchy bitchy, and these kids are just like, we have a 50% chance we get a free ride, and a 50% chance we'll have to wash this lady's car and have our whole entire day derailed while our friend's life is on the line. Yeah, I like those odds. These kids throughout this episode tested every carnival game to make sure they're fair, meaning everyone has equal odds of winning. Once they find the rigged game that's more skewed towards the kids losing, that's the game Hacker made. Games of chance are so boring to me. The kids playing these games was so boring. Watching Digit escape, almost getting to the kids himself, while they stay oblivious, was painful. These characters get a bit more competent as the show goes on, but these first 3 episodes, goodness, they were not on their A game. We haven't seen Motherboard, a supposed god of cyberspace, do anything this entire time. I hate to even question her because her design is so iconic. And I remember her being cool, but so far, she's just as useless as real AI. Though to be fair, I'm sure she guzzles a lot less water.
We need more space.
More cyberspace? No, but for real, what is cyberspace? Cyberspace is their universe made up of cyber sites, which are like planets. I think of every cyber site as a website. Their approach is very interesting because when I think of cartoon humans jumping in an online world, I think of Timmy Turner and all of those message boards, just surfing through emails and forums. But in CyberChase's cyberspace, it's more based off of how customizable websites used to be and the unique vibe of early internet games. Think of Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, or even more crudely designed Adobe Flash games. That is the internet they're exploring. The internet of the early 2000s, before everything was minimalist and corporate and boring as shit. Look at the texture of this snow with the snowflakes stamped into it. The settings are so stylized. This is what pulled me into this show as a kid. The universe intrigued me. It captured my attention and completely distracted me from some of the more clunky and awkward dialogue.
First a stampede, now a skeleton. What's next?
Awesome! A real Conestoga wagon.
Didn't they call them prairie schooners?
Uh-huh, because they look like they sail the prairie.
Let's talk about some of their most notable worlds, or as they say, cyber sites. One cyber site is themed around Greek mythology in the episode Zeus on the Loose. We do not see Athena. Huge bummer. The consequences this one area of cyberspace has on the rest is very confusing to me. Hacker stole Pandora's box, and everyone says if he opens it, disease and destruction will follow, just like in the myth. But the box was programmed to be in the game, right? It's not like he's taking code and hacking it into the rest of their universe. He's just opening a box, which he has a lot of trouble with. Embarrassing. And the consequences of opening a box should only affect this cyber site, but they're saying it would affect the entire universe. Who made this box? Does Motherboard just hide kill switches everywhere and warn people not to touch them? Apple from Adam and Eve type shit? As we ponder that, check out this wild animation mistake I caught. Is Jackie okay? Luckily, Zeus switched out Pandora's box for a regular music box. So all the trials and tribulations the kids went through this episode was just Zeus making the kids prove themselves. All for nothing. Accurate to the cruelty seen in Greek mythology, I suppose. We even see Atlas cursed to hold the sky. Can't Motherboard free him? We didn't see her all episode. We return to the Greek mythology world in the episode Out of Sync. If this band has an off day and the music doesn't sound good, their world collapses. This is the most unstable site. In the episode of All the Luck, we see more strange magical items and how they affect cyberspace. The hacker's spiral for this episode all started with him receiving a negative fortune cookie. Wait, you're telling me these robot bitches eat?
Holographic meatloaf? My favorite!
Hacker reads through the Book of Borg, which I suppose is like an encyclopedia all about their nonsensical universe. He learns that 10 lucky charms are scattered throughout cyberspace, and if you collect them all, you gain luck. Hacker accomplishes this, or should I say, his henchman Buzz and Delete that he abuses, accomplished this for him just to be fired immediately after. And as suspected, the good luck isn't in his head, it's not a placebo, it is a boost. It's a magical upgrade, a level up. Good things just start happening to him. A tremendous amount of cyber sites are being given to him for him to lead, and Motherboard's manual fell right on his lap. I once again say, who programmed these lucky charms? One fantastic part of this episode is Buzz and Delete getting their jobs back by sneakily helping the kids take down their former boss. Because if Hacker doesn't have luck, he needs these two dunderheads. The three of them are absolutely terrible together. A mutually parasitic relationship, it's delightful. We have to talk about Season 1, Episode 7, The Pottleville Case. The moment I saw Matt's eye looking like it was about to explode, plus the strange lighting inconsistencies, I thought back to that one episode of Wildcrats that looked out of place, and thought to myself, this is probably just the pilot they snuck in the first season. And can I get some commotion for being correct? According to the wiki page for this episode, in the trivia section, the pilot episode is animated by Curious Pictures, the same Curious Pictures to animate Team Umizoomi and the Little Einsteins. Royalty here on the Athena P channel. This is the only episode Digit does not appear, as he had not been created yet when the pilot was made. A line was added to the script to explain his absence.
Too bad Digit's not here. We could use his help.
So subtle. Hilarious. Now on to these creatures and this world. The memories came flooding back to me, dude. These guys are pottles, like the one we saw in Our Fair City. Each pottle has a number and shape associated with their family, their home, and their power pod egg. The villains are stealing these odd eggs to access the cyber power vault, and as they steal these eggs, the Pottles' homes contort into irregular shapes, which pleases the Chaos Gremlin hacker. The stupid henchmen Buzz and Delete didn't end up stealing all the eggs they needed, and our good guys need to complete the same pattern with a triangle one egg they didn't have. Luckily, the Pottle child called a Podling that was helping them happened to be the correct shape and number, so they jammed her into this machine, and I was worried. They didn't even consider the possibility that this machine could kill their new friend. Imagine the pilot of a PBS show going that hard. In the arms of a triangel. Another area of Pottleville is Paralleloland, seen in Season 5. This area of Pottleville is only for the parallelogram family, known as the Paralleline. Known as the Paralinis. This old circus family of parallelograms has some deeply rooted trauma. Basically, they accidentally helped Hacker out, so they vowed never to tilt, lean, or stretch again, which is their incredible ability to change shape without changing the length of their sides.
I know I'm not supposed to do this. 1, 2, 3, lean. 1, 2, 3, lean. Tilt! Didn't see that. Tell me you didn't see that.
Huge lore drop in the episode Secrets of Symmetria. One of the writers of this episode is Noel McNeil, puppeteering legend, writer, someone who is somehow aware of this channel. In the world of Symmetria, they want everything to be symmetrical using the invention, the symmetrizer.
You say you're tired of being surrounded by uneven, lopsided ugliness?
Unrealistic beauty standards in this cyber site, which is never called out. This is encouraged by none other than Dr. Marbles, who's so big-headed he made robots of himself. Now here is where we learn more of Hacker's backstory. He angrily shouts,
Marbles?
The day he drained my powers, a day I'll never forget.
I wrote here in my notes, does this mean that Dr. Marbles has at some point killed Hacker? Can we get a flashback episode in this bitch? I need to know when the poisoning of Motherboard began. The literal next episode, there's a flashback, so relax past me. There's also this.
Recall the time Motherboard grounded you for illegal downloading?
Not only is Hacker a based pirate, but notice that language, grounding, that plus this here wiki image, and yeah, I should have known that Motherboard is Hacker's mom. But then it says his creator is Dr. Marbles. And honestly, for the longest time, I thought that Motherboard and Dr. Marbles were together romantically, but dude, just wait, okay? This show is so weird. In the episode codename Icky, we see the cyber site Aquarium, digital and underwater, Frutiger Arrow adjacent. I love the mermaid design, her name is Binary, and I especially love the Energy Slug, who is the main focus of the episode. The Energy Slug is an endangered species, the last of its kind, and he is very important to Aquarium because the slug absorbs Aquarium's energy, and this underwater world has a surplus of it. Without the Energy Slug, there would be way too much energy, and as Motherboard says, the cyber site would boil over. This is such a great double whammy, because obviously Hacker is targeting this slug. He wants to use the slug to drain the rest of Motherboard's energy, but it's just so diabolical that in trying to take Motherboard down, he would also unknowingly kill a planet. And if the slug feeds on nothing, he'll die too. Like, this is genuinely some really scary villain shit. There are layers here. The kids found a way to communicate with this slug that they named Icky, because before they met him, they thought he was gross. Just kinda mean for no reason. Anyway, Icky saves himself by removing from Motherboard's power and launching himself onto the Grim Reaper, Hacker's ship, taking all of the energy out of it until they crash land back in his home of Aquarium. In the episode Trading Places, there's a cyber site called Nowhere. And with a name like that, I thought it would be like the Void from SpongeBob. But no, this site is full of people who trade. Once they learn that the kids have donuts, the people of Nowhere make their currency all around donuts. In this episode, we also learn about a genie named Warren, who is so notorious Hacker looked up to him, but Warren refused to work with Hacker until he heard that Hacker had a donut. This episode was beyond silly and random. There was even this lunch lady who we met at the start of the episode, who at the very end was revealed to be Warren the genie's mom, who was the one that grounded him in that bottle for, was it years? Warren comes back, but the ongoing joke is that he always gets grounded before he's able to do anything evil. In Season 2, Episode 2, we see Radopolis, a skating-themed cyber site for the first time. This feels like an online game that would totally exist. In the Season 3 episode, A World Without Zero, the heroes go to Gollywood. Motherboard begs this character, Mr. Zero, to stay, but he feels worthless. Hacker was the one sending Mr. Zero a bunch of hate mail, saying no one were to miss him if he'd leave. Damn, Hacker.
Get out of town!
The kids learn about all the purposes that Zero serves as the speed limit goes down. As everyone thinks there's only $5 in the bank when there's actually 5 million, but there are no zeros to show that quantity. They search for Mr. Zero to beg him to stay, but he's just spying on and overhearing these kids the whole time. So bizarre. I don't like this guy. Hiding behind bushes just to fish for more compliments from children.
I don't like him!
Another absolutely wild Gollywood moment is when Inez asks the Wholesome Sisters for an autograph. Parody of the Olsen twins in a CYBERCHASE episode from 2004. How am I surprised? You know what else was popular in the early 2000s? Just waiting for a CYBERCHASE parody?
You, Sherry Spotter.
Yup. A lot more pop culture references than I was expecting. In the Season 3 episode, Sherry Spotter and the Cosmic Crumpets, we see this sorcerer cyber site with the magical school of frog snorts. With the headmaster, Stumble Snore. Good lord. Sherry also has a crush on Matt, because she's supposed to be Harry Potter and he's a Weasley-looking motherfucker. I'm not even sure if I would have mentioned this wizard world if not for Sherry's adorable dodo sidekick named Dottie. I love her. She talks in rhyme. She's so cute. The references start to get a little bit how do you do fellow kids-ish. During the season 9 premiere, Hacker's plan involves making CyberTube videos.
Oh my god, bro.
I wrote a joke about wanting to see a drama thumbnail about the satisfying downfall of Hacker, but then in season 12, they actually have an influencer character named Zusk making a video roasting Hacker.
Beaten by a smoothie? That is so not cool.
Wow. These last few seasons have a completely different vibe. In season 10, they have Gwiggle, which is their version of Google. In season 12, when the spa is down, a bot threatens to write a bad Yip review.
Oh, wow.
I like their fantastical fictional internet. Don't remind me or reference the real internet. I use the real internet way too much. It's not as fun. We have to return to the whimsy. In season 4, episode 8, A Crinkle in Time, we visit the cyber site TikTokia. And no, this isn't a reference to the app. This episode predates the app by 11 years, back when our dopamine receptors weren't fried to a crisp. You've been looking at my face way too long. Here's a funny clip.
TikTok, TikTok, TikTok.
Like a clock.
Yup, this is a clock world. The Cyber Squad is brought to this world via a cuckoo clock. This really creepy bird I don't trust grabs them, and now we're on the other side. We meet wind-up creatures and mostly clock creatures, including these digital clocks who catcall a lady clock who's clearly uncomfortable. They even have a cat in the scene, spelling out that this is catcalling. Father Time and all the other old clocks are grandfather clocks. I liked that touch. In the Eco Haven cyber site, there are a bunch of prehistoric creatures in this safari-like setting. We meet the one-off characters of Nero the Animal Hero, Unga the Big Top, owner of a circus, of course, and Ron Target the Big Game Hunter. Jackie exclaims that she's seen Nero on TV, so this could be an online game where you play as an animated version of a real-life celebrity, suggesting the existence of cyber clones. This would have been a great place for a crossover. We got Sir Gastole, Donita Donata, and oh my god, Martin Kratt? I've seen him on TV! They're both PBS, they could have done that. When we return to Eco Haven Season 5, Episode 4, we learn that this ecosystem of robo-animals gets their energy from this orange goop. Hacker also feels re-energized by this goo, so he drains it all for himself. The kids stop him, of course, but I love that another ongoing goal of Hacker is to get his energy supply back to what it was. Everything that is deleted goes to the cyber site Discardia. But in order to permanently delete something, as we see in Season 5's On the Line, you must put whatever you want gone into the Forever Gone machine. Like emptying the trash off your computer. You know what? I'll also delete helium-filled Hacker too. CYBERCHASE inflation in 2026. No, not on my watch. Starlight Night is a holiday we first see in Season 3. It is cyberspace's new year, but it's also a Christmas-like holiday, as seen in Season 6's When Penguins Fly. Starlight Night is the one night a year penguins are able to fly, like the name said, because they do so to deliver gifts. We'll talk about the Season 6 tone shift in a bit, but just listen to the song they sing this episode. The vibes are off, man.
We're walking, it's cold out, on a special night of the year.
Vlogs here, we're playing.
Boo! You stink!
There's also a whole other New Year's holiday called Reboot Eve, where they make resolutions. And every year, a different cyber site hosts the Ball Rise, where they count up. A perfect time for another new setting, Ottawa. Canada reference. In Season 6's finale, we see the Sphere of Fears. The wiki says it best. The Sphere of Fears is a mini galaxy of orbs comprised of hundreds of giant terrarium-like spheres that are inhabited by creepers. This is clearly the dark web. The best new cyber site of Season 7 is in the episode The X Factor. It's called Perfectamundo, and it's known for its renewable energy. Perfectamundo returns in Season 9's Trash Creep, where their mayor says this.
Oh, Waldo, this is a disaster! I designed Perfectamundo to be perfect! How could I have forgotten where to put the trash?
How can we have a party to celebrate our first year as a cyber site?
So this is a new cyber site. This can be dismissed simply as city planning, but why do I feel like she actually built the floating land? She built the website. How else would a cyber site start? Well, in Season 11, we do get to see how a cyber site was discovered. There is only one remaining inhabitant of Ecardia, Ted. And Ted says that this cyber site was discovered 100 years ago. And even longer ago, 200 million years ago, there were a lot of animals of Ecardia that went extinct. With this timeline in mind, if that much time had actually passed, cyberspace wasn't invented by humans at all. Our internet is essentially just communicating with another universe that's been here longer than us. Let's speedrun the less cool worlds. In Season 7, we are brought to Golftopia. Pompadoria is another really strange world. When it was first introduced, we only met half of its inhabitants. Seemingly out of nowhere in the Season 7 finale, they act like these hedgehoppers have been here the whole time. They're flying little puffballs that the wiki claims have powers, but they put powers in condescending quotation marks. Also, this info is completely contradictory to the disclaimer they put on the page. Yoinks! They don't have powers! Well, which is it? Who am I to trust? I mean, I did watch all of the episodes. It didn't seem like they had powers. Season 8, Episode 3 is the debut of Outta Sight. The Far Out radio station is the only thing on the cyber site Outta Sight. And for whatever reason, the feel-good tunes have an important role to play in their society. The music is the only thing that lifts the morale of the rebooter bees, and these bees have to pollinate to reboot the computer chips.
Yikes! All of cyberspace would shut down.
It's amazing their world hasn't shut down already. It's so fragile. There are so many cracks. And I understand why. It's a super long-running show, and this is what it takes to stay engaging. Will this cyber world die? Will Motherboard ever feel any better? Stay tuned.
Friends do stuff.
I like what each of the friends bring to the party most of the time. Inez has grown to be a real team player. At first, she was really bad at going with the flow, but she's grown a lot. Matt is a hands-on learner, which makes sense because he grew up on a farm. A very physical job and environment. But you know what pisses me off? How snappy they are to Jackie.
I'm sorry, guys. I really need to try this myself.
Do what you want, Jax. We're playing.
I think they're insecure because she's clearly the smartest one. The way she problem solves is different than her friends. She'll pace and take time to herself to clear her mind.
Make room. I gotta pace.
I think Jackie is neurodivergent. They really highlight how melodramatic she is. She tends to have the biggest reactions, especially to sensory overload.
Ew! Ew! And double ew!
She'll remove herself from situations to fully decompress, and pacing is a form of stimming, especially because it helps her focus and regulate emotions. Inez also stims. She flips upside down to think, and Matt yo-yos to think. There may not be a neurotypical among them, but Jackie is my favorite character, and even though her friend's snappiness only lasts a second, I just want to protect her because I hate how easily Matt's feelings get hurt. Like, sorry she doesn't need your help, buddy. You're still a good guy, a wonderful yo-yoer, but dude, stop feeling threatened. You all have the same goal. Also, for whatever reason, I really thought Digit would annoy me, but he is a much needed addition to the series. You'd be surprised how many of Hacker's plans fall through just because of Digit's inside scoop being one of his ex-employees. In the Season 2 episode All the Right Angles, Digit even works as a double agent. After Motherboard's virus accidentally sent Hacker a treasure map, Digit played it off like he sent it to Hacker because he's joining the evil team again, when really he's sabotaging them from the inside. A fun dynamic. On top of that, his nose is a multi-purpose tool that he luckily didn't fully break after all of those tremendous falls. His nose acts as a drill, key, hand mixer, saw, to name a few. The episode Size Me Up unleashes Widget onto the world. In Digit's storage belly lies a tinier, scarier mini Digit. My husband Ben described Widget as the Scrappy-Doo of CYBERCHASE. And this was my honest reaction.
Wow, I need a minute to think about this.
He is absolutely right. I hate it here. Also, I'm sorry I have to say it. Matt is a real weirdo sometimes.
You don't scare me.
Relax, Hank. We're friendly. And I bet you're ticklish.
Whoa!
Friendly people don't do that. I bet you're ticklish. It's okay, I'm friendly. I got a comment, I forgot where, that said this main group was a viewer's first OT3, and at first I struggled to see how or why, until the premiere of Season 2, themed around Valentine's Day. Both the girlies kiss Matt on the cheek, and he blushes. This would have broke Kid Athena's brain. She would have been so stressed.
Inez, Jackie, your girlfriends?
No, I mean, yes, they're girls, and they're my friends, but not my girlfriends.
You think you can have a bunch of wives? You got one wife!
There's a bit of annoyance towards Sherry Potter from Inez and Jackie, and we haven't even gotten to Slider yet.
Can you stand?
I don't think so, but I'll try.
I'll help you.
This show briefly goes out of control with the shipping.
How did I get here?
How It All Started was a digital comic / game that was released a year before this show's premiere. We go over Hacker being exiled, creating Digit, who from the very start did not want to be with Hacker. In the very first comic, we have to help Digit save Motherboard with a game all about pattern recognition. There are 3 installments of this web series, and by the 3rd, Hacker's rage is already at a goddamn level 19. Nobody, not Motherboard, not Dr. Marbles, and certainly not that traitorous tin turkey, will stop me from becoming the new ruler of cyberspace. He may not be good at many things, but his nicknames always kill me. Honestly, these episodes were archived by fans pretty well, for the most part. Check out this nightmarish page.
What the hell is even that?
Also, unfortunately, this prologue didn't clear up anything. I'm just as confused as ever. The 3rd webcomic game introduces us to the Cyber Squad, the human children, but they still never explain why Hacker chooses to spy on them. Dude is just a weirdo. I just have to accept that these children being the chosen ones is completely random. Based on this production material from 1998, this show could have been very different. Hacker could have looked more like an amphibian. And he's also wigless. Motherboard's original design looked even scarier. Like, good lord, what am I looking at? I'll be damned if God is ugly. I say, looking like this. And even worse than that, Kyle? Julie? Who are you people? I love that in the test runs, they kept track of how many people hated Kyle. 12% did not like Kyle. 4 female, 2 male.
Stay right where you are. It's CYBERCHASE for real.
Stay right where you are. It's CYBERCHASE for real.
As of me recording this in January 2026, a lot of this series is supposedly lost media. If you're wondering about the outfit change, I'm dressed as Harry, one of the 2 original hosts of this after cartoon segment. Let me read you a bit of his wiki. Harry is inventive and always ready to try something new. He likes to juggle, do magic, and ride his unicycle wearing crazy pants, shirts, and shoes. He's a hard worker, and he takes on new challenges, sometimes with his annoying cousin, Harley. When I first read that, I thought it was the writer of this wiki article letting their own opinion come through, but no, Harley is the worst. He is so mean to Harry. At first, it's a real obstacle. He like crashes Harry's dates and shit. Bianca hosts many episodes as well, and I remembered her even more than Harry. She's pretty rude in a way that's really iconic.
Are you keeping track of how much baking powder you're adding?
No more comments! Your job is to keep the camera rolling.
As a kid, she was goals. Here's how I could sum up her character. Hey, what's the big idea? When she was slightly inconvenienced, she let everyone know. But in the end, she always learns and grows. One way they get this message across is by having her really cartoonishly wake up from nightmares screaming like this. No, 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 I don't want to litter anymore! That's not an exaggeration, by the way.
Bianca, what? You're littering. It's a wrapper, it'll blow away. You're part of the problem. I don't want to be part of the problem!
Later on in these For Real segments, Harry and Bianca met, and I was losing my mind over it. They're friends. I hope they're still friends. I don't know why their friendship means so much to me.
Harry!
Bianca?
And Athena. Streaming services include some but not all of these For Real segments, and sometimes they cut off very strangely. Here is a real clip from the end of Season 1, Episode 22, Model Behavior.
Stay right where you are. It's
Okay, why does Digit want me to watch the credits so bad? I mean, I will, but why? The Lost Media Wiki points out that it's even more difficult to find these segments with the original logo, as they kept swapping out the banner for PBS Go. Season 5 was the last season produced by Nelvana, and Season 6 is the first season using Adobe Flash as opposed to digital ink and paint, and you could really see the difference in motion especially. I was expecting the backgrounds to suffer the most. Luckily, in my opinion, they replicated the textures close enough to not really bother me, but the movement of the 2D characters is so stiff. There's either no bounce or too much bounce. The fluidity of frame by frame is gone. I've heard it's a lot less grueling, but the noticeable quality drop is really worth mentioning. The other big change, especially when you compare the theme song visuals side by side, is that the characters are just as bright as the scenery, to the point where there's less variety and they look flatter. Also, they just aren't utilizing suspenseful camera angles as much as they used to. Before commercial break, there'd usually be this goofy cliffhanger of one of the characters yelling, "No!" or "We're trapped!" or "What are we gonna do?" And it's so goofy watching it now on streaming because it just fades to black, only to fade back in for an immediate resolution. But back to what I was saying about Season 6's dip in quality. Normally for these "oh no" before commercial break moments, they would have a tight zoom in, or the perspective would spin or do something crazy, like my hair right now. But during the premiere of Season 6, instead of committing to the drama, they did whatever this is. I feel bad pointing this out. It's clear they were still finding their footing, but dude, that gesture was just so unnatural. Jump! Also, Digit was completely mischaracterized in the Season 6 premiere. Usually the dude is overflowing with confidence, but because of the overused "we pretended to forget your birthday to throw you a surprise party" trope, we have him contemplating a factory reset. This is the robot version of a lobotomy. Digit is better than this. He wouldn't buy into hackers' lies about his friends hating him. Boo! Season 9 and beyond's lessons were all environmentally themed, with Season 8 being credited as the last season based around mathematical concepts. which I'm not gonna lie is pretty sad to me. CyberChase was so good at teaching math in a creative way. Math was always my least favorite subject. It's what I am the worst at. So the last thing I would need as a kid is for a show that effectively teaches me about math to switch it up randomly. Plus, teaching math fits the tech theme way better.
There's evil afoot.
What?
In the episode Snow Day, to be exact, we see one of Dr. Marbles' most incredible inventions. He created a sun-like energy source called the Sunosphere that controls the beachy weather on the cyber site Solaria. And the actual bulb-like thing this is made out of never gets hot or overheats, despite heating up this entire website world. And right after we're introduced to that, we hear that the hacker needs a new energy source.
Something that doesn't have to be recharged. Something that will last forever.
Hey, that kind of sounds like the Sunosphere. And you know what? He came to the same conclusion. Finally, a world domination plan that doesn't just have to do with his nemesis. The moment he took their sun, Solaris is covered in snow, just like the episode name foretold. Motherboard summons Inez and zaps climate-appropriate clothes on her. But aside from that and giving the mission, she is out. I can't wait till we see Motherboard doing anything else. All she does is serve face and glitch away. Surely she's capable of something else, right? Right?
You sure snowed, hacker.
Okay, she's got jokes. One episode where there's no hacker evil plan is in the episode Sensible Flats. We see this bizarre Trail to Oregon-like cyber site full of claiming land prospector style. Hacker needs some more land for evil doing.
It's free real estate.
The only rule in Sensible Flats is don't take more land than Judge Trudy. Hacker took an irregularly shaped plot of land, and he was arrested despite, for once, not doing anything wrong. The kids prove his innocence in exchange for the antidote. And this scene specifically scratched such an itch in my brain when I was a kid. Seeing them turn triangles into a square blew little Athena's tiny mind. Turns out, Hacker took exactly the same amount of land. He is innocent, but you know what he's guilty of? Only giving the kids a little bit of the antidote code. So even though Motherboard feels a little bit better now, she is still nowhere near her full power. Also, Hacker was especially afraid in jail because he needed to recharge. Episode 9, Clock Like an Egyptian, ends on a cliffhanger. Hacker waits outside a pyramid for the kids to escape from another group of villains.
Nobody leaves.
Digit fully kills this mummy, which they breeze right past. No one acknowledges that. And when the kids finally escape, Hacker, Buzz, and Elite snatch the encryptor chip from them. Look how defeated our heroes look. Tough day. That encryptor chip was the one thing that could have saved Motherboard. Funny that waiting ended up benefiting the hacker in an episode all about keeping time. Unfortunately for our favorite criminals, they are hit with a dust storm. And now the encryptor chip isn't even in Hacker's possession. Instead, it's lost somewhere in the desert. In episode 11, A Day at the Spa, we see a flashback of when Dr. Marbles drained Hacker of his power. This is why he needs constant recharges. When Dr. Marbles weakened Hacker, he monologues about how he could have killed Hacker if he wanted to.
While I could permanently delete you, Hacker, I've chosen instead to downgrade your perpetual power supply and banish you to the northern frontier.
I'm sorry, that's villain shit. Dr. Marbles says that Hacker was made to serve and defend Motherboard. But like, who gave him the name Hacker? Dude called himself the Hacker, and you were surprised when he started hacking things? Dumbass! Well, why do we see this scene play out now? Because Hacker is no longer nerfed. This whole time, we only saw him at 10% of his power. I pulled that number directly out of my butt. Hacker got a hold of the Crystal of Calamore and plans to absorb its everlasting energy. When he does this, he will no longer have to recharge. This is such a big deal, you'd think he wouldn't drag his feet about this super important life-changing event. but the kids distract him by faxing him a flyer about a spa.
Here's his fax number.
What's this?
I can't even focus on the silliness of an evil spa because I just love that the illusion of futuristic tech is immediately shattered by the mention of faxing things. This makes me feel simultaneously ancient, but also magical. Sure, Digit distracted Hacker by giving him a clown spa, and the kids took the crystal back, but don't ever forget, it all started with a fax. And that's just the facts. A very confusing Hacker plan was in the episode Find Those Gleamers. An episode that unearthed the memory of Digit's glowing nose that detects these butterfly firefly creatures called the Gleamers. Why does he do that? Well, when he worked for Hacker, Hacker installed that in him because their ship, the Grim Reaper, runs on the energy of these firefly creatures. Good lord, not only can he update his henchmen, but he's using living creatures as fuel? Also, this means that Hacker has no right to complain about Buzz and Delete's incompetence because that's a reflection of his own failure. Why don't you just upgrade them? In this episode, the kids are finding the Gleamers, the butterfly firefly creatures, and Hacker made a copy of his ship, the Grim Reaper 2, just for this game show thing. Yeah, the kids are playing along because Hacker promises that if they win, he'll give them the encryptor chip. They don't know if he has it. They honestly suspect he won't even give it to them, but they take this opportunity because it is televised across cyberspace.
Even if it's a fake, here's our chance to show the cyber world that Hacker's not invincible.
And on TV, too.
Hacker is trying to use this illusion of having the encryptor chip, he doesn't actually have it, to instill fear in cyberspace, while also trying to sell them shit.
I'm here to introduce a startling new advance in fake hair technology. The Hacker's wig gel. Wig gel.
And the kids are trying to spread hope by humiliating Hacker on live television. Sure, I guess. It's very elaborate, but whatever. Also, this episode takes place on Topsy-Turvy Island, the same one from episode 1. So there's the added stakes of the island turning inside out on itself if they don't get out of there before the sun sets. As expected, the chip is a fake. I'd say this plan was stupid, but if I was evil and had a nemesis, I'd probably try to waste as much of their time and energy as possible. He does this dramatic television challenge again in the season 8 premiere, The Hacker's Challenge, where they have to solve his riddles so he doesn't turn Celeria to dust. In the end, who could have guessed it, the good guys outsmart Hacker, but he tries to follow through with his evil plan anyway. You're telling me he's not a man of his word? Now he's gone too far. Luckily, his own team of Buzz and Delete accidentally sabotage him by setting off his laser as it's pointed at their ship, the Grim Reaper. In the episode Less Than Zero, we see that there is a cyberspace United Nations type organization. They call it the Secret Meeting of the Cyber Council. The head of the council is Dr. Marbles, and I've never talked about this dude's general vibe, but it's a lot. I get that he's passionate, but he's constantly yelling.
When will motherboard be fixed?
Patience! It won't be long before motherboard is back to full power and Hacker is defeated!
Relax, relax.
This group of leaders is very easy to manipulate. Hacker said he'll freeze all of their cyber sites unless they sign over their cyber sites to be ruled by Hacker. So many of them almost crack over a goddamn hologram.
You wouldn't! Oh, wouldn't I? Put on your parka, Kingy boy. He would! Relax, Kingy. That was just a hologram. A little preview.
Hacker is always such an idiot. Why did he even bother correcting him? Let him think you froze it and then use unfreezing as a negotiation tactic. Stupid. Instead, he pretends his ship's brakes is an invention called the Freezerator. So he loses control of his ship because, you need the brakes. And the deal falls through because Digit recognizes what the machine actually is. An absolute shit plan all around. I'd rate this plan a -1,000, which is appropriate because in this episode we learned about negative numbers. The visual of the floors below ground level, mwah. PBS is so good at visualizing concepts. One hilarious plan was in episode 23, Fortress of Attitude, when Hacker tried to get all of cyberspace to surrender to him through the power of being annoying.
What?
His whole plan is just blasting his voice so loud it reaches every cyber site, and he's threatening that he won't turn it off until he's king. I gotta respect that. In the next episode, Size Me Up, Hacker tries to take down Motherboard with an email consisting of a malicious link that looks like it was sent by the kids. It's been a while since Hacker lived up to his name, so yeah, something as unthreatening as an email was absolutely necessary. But the dude doesn't send the email right away. He wants to throw a party first, so more people can witness his evilness. His showmanship is always his demise. The next plan is one of the very best. In the episode A Battle of Equals, Hacker scatters cyber waste, aka static, and we get a monologue that shows us how this universe is run. A while ago, Dr. Marbles got rid of all the static in cyberspace and stored it in a reservoir, making their universe clean and clear. But Hacker intends to pollute it again, making everything fuzzy and glitchy. He loves spreading chaos and unrest. But wait, in season 5, they talk about the Forever Gone machine. So why would they have to put the static in a reservoir when they could have just deleted it forever? Maybe that was invented after. You know what? I'll just say that because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. In the season 2 premiere Hugs and Witches, we meet Dr. Marbles' girlfriend, Lady Ada Lovelace, who is based on a real person? Interesting. A little strange. She is also dedicated to finding a cure for Motherboard, and one of her latest inventions is a time machine. Once Hacker tracks her and Marbles down, Hacker intends to use her latest invention against the lovebirds, sending them back to the age of the cyber dinosaurs. Work smarter, not harder, I guess. Pretty cool he didn't have to put any work into this plan. Lady Ada also looks completely indistinguishable from humans to the point where I think maybe she was zapped into this world, but isn't a robot like the rest of them. I mean, they even say she's one of the first computer programmers. Even though the wiki says species unknown, I think it's heavily implied she's human. Unfortunately, that does make Marbles her AI boyfriend. Ugh. And she even says it's impossible for her to go back with Dr. Marbles with no explanation. Why is she stuck here? Is she the consciousness of a human uploaded to cyberspace, Black Mirror style? Is this why we only see her once and never again? Yeah, this is her only appearance. We've only ever seen people from our world travel into cyberspace, but in the season 2 Mother's Day episode, Jackie gives her mom a flower that she brought back from cyberspace. So things can be taken from cyberspace and brought to the human world. Also, Jackie, why were you so ominous about it?
Why, Jackie, what an unusual flower. Where on earth did you get it?
Oh, a little place you never heard of.
If my kid said that to me, I'd be like, wait, hold on, now where are you going? Why would I not know? That would scare the shit out of me. In season 2's Raising the Bar, we see how graphs can be misleading, even if they're showing the correct information.
The Vermin Vexter used really big numbers on his scale so that the data bars would look tiny.
And tiny bars make it look like there's only a few bugs in all the sections. We chose a scale with smaller numbers so the bars would be bigger and easier to understand.
Hacker's plan was to erase Motherboard from history, replacing every mention of her in the Cybrary, the cyber library, with him using these bugs. Ironic because he disguised himself as an exterminator while releasing the bugs. This was such a fun episode because while trying to delete people's memory of Motherboard, Hacker bonked his head and briefly forgot who he was. And Buzz began to act as the boss, barking commands at the Hacker. Delete misses his friends, so he helps the kids. I love Buzz and Delete. They are such opportunistic little shits. I was audibly laughing. In Season 3, Episode 2, The Borg of the Ring, we're back to that skating planet. The skaters recently found the ancient relic of Radopolis. This ring was the crown of King Stoked, and it grants you your heart's desire. Hacker steals it off the king's head. No! He wishes for hair. Once again, you know I already got a... I wish I made blonde hair for this moment. And he also wished for Buzz and Delete to stop talking. I audibly awed at that. The squeaking of their metal jaws and their inability to speak made me so sad. Don't make me empathize with the robots. You know what else surprised me? In the Season 3 episode, A Perfect Fit, Hacker revisits an old plan. He fishes out his Frankenstein's monster Gigabyte all the way back from episode 2. He's trying to bring him to life yet again, but he tries using a different energy source since the full moon won't be out quick enough for him. You can't rush perfection, Baldylocks. The episode has a classic Hacker downfall, but there's a lot of fun moments. First, I learned what tessellation is at my big age. It's the covering of a flat surface using geometric shapes with no gaps or overlaps, also known as tiling. My shirt has a tessellated pattern. When the kids are putting the shapes together, there's an adhesive that magically appears called CYBERPASTE.
Whoa, CYBERPASTE! That's what I like about cyberspace. Anything's possible.
This universe, being a never-ending source of chaos, is also reflected in the strange things these characters do. Gigabyte, Hacker's lifeless husk's biggest op, is not the kids, but Buzz. Delete keeps talking about Gigabyte like he's a brother to him because back in episode 2, Delete's intelligence was put into Gigabyte's brain. It was like a copy of Delete's intelligence. I didn't mention it because in my defense, I never thought we'd see this guy again. Buzz gets so jealous over Delete having another friend that in the end, Buzz launches this lifeless body.
What's that thing? Oh! Yes! Sayonara!
Never a dull moment. The amount of genuine laughs this show got out of me should be studied. Donate to PBS if you can. No one does edutainment like them. The most bizarre plan that makes the rest of cyberspace look completely useless is in the season 6 finale. All of cyberspace is convinced that Delete is Motherboard. This was Delete dressed as Motherboard, by the way. If I was Motherboard, I would be so pissed. I would restart the whole computer. What do you mean that creature looks like me?
Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry.
This is my impression if Motherboard was your mother and you just said something you weren't supposed to say at the dinner table. Thank you. Watching Motherboard as a kid in the early 2000s and watching her now in 2026 are completely different viewing experiences. Robots in the early 2000s were so friendly and cool, and sure, there were plenty of evil robots in movies and TV shows, but it felt like they evened each other out. As a kid, I wanted to protect Motherboard with our heroes, but now I find myself yelling at her like I do with Siri. You're supposed to be making my life better, why are you making it worse? What it comes down to is, as big-eyed kids growing up during the explosive growth of the internet, we always assumed innovation would be the driving force. And that illusion shattered. The whimsy, mysticism, and optimistic outlook of tech pretty much completely died. I know it's silly to say these complicated emotions bubbled up while watching a kid show, but it certainly did.
Calm down, son. It's just a drawing.
Current culture aside, from a narrative standpoint, Season 1, Episode 14, Cool It, did a great job of making me empathize with Motherboard. We're always used to her having a virus that Hacker gave her, but when Hacker messes with her coolant, making her heat up, we see from a first-person perspective what this looks and feels like. She's in such pain, her vision is warping, and she exclaims that she's overheating.
Are you as hot as I am?
Well,
I like to think I'm not unattractive.
All right, easy, Digit, calm down now. This scene is effective because they humanize her. They stop acting like she's this unreachable, barely seen goddess and actually makes the stakes tangible. In season 2, we unlock new angles of Mommy Board. Look at her flailing her neck around. Look at the 3 dimensions of that chin. Ooh la la. And we finally see how powerful Motherboard is in season 2, episode 3. A spell was placed on her, and because of this spell, Motherboard makes all of the cyber sites mean and green. The fact that she's nice is the only reason every robot in cyberspace has free will. Because this spell shows that Motherboard not only has the power to change how cyber sites look, but she can also change the personality of all who live in cyberspace if she really wanted to. Dude, now I see why she has so many protectors. It's really late in the game to drop this, but it makes everything make so much more sense. The episode True Colors has far worse implications. We learn about how the Cyber Constitution allows Hacker to run for leader of cyberspace despite being evil. This is fun. This is exactly the escapism I need right now. Oh wait, it's still going. The first thing Hacker wants to do as leader is make sure there's no more elections, which goes against the Cyber Constitution. I'm not making this up. This aired in 2003. If you could believe it, educational art desperately tried to let us know the warning signs. Who would have thought? No wonder this fuck-ass administration prioritized defunding PBS. This is sad. I want my haha silly cyberspace back. We see another flashback in the season 3 episode A Piece of the Action. Hacker looks noticeably younger. He's a lanky teen. He's validated by Motherboard's approval. He saved her from a meteorite, and he was just as dedicated to keeping her safe as Dr. Marbles was. What happened to this guy? Also, these cyber creatures can age? This episode was all over the place. We're on the planet Eureka, surrounded by creatures that look like plankton from SpongeBob.
There's a squitter on your shoulder.
I know, and I'm gonna love him and keep him and call him George. The name's Sheldon.
I can't believe his name was Sheldon. That's wild. Also, the simultaneous Looney Tunes and Of Mice and Men reference is an ongoing joke that appears at least 10 times throughout the series, and I love that they gave it to delete. Because he just embodies that stupid, accidentally stumbled into being a bad guy type character. Back to Hacker's plan. This element, magnetite, will erase Motherboard's memory, so he's collecting it to use against her. But Hacker is allergic to magnetite. So many more questions arise. How do allergies work here? Are they programmed, or is it just cyber science? A somehow genetic difference that appears in cyber nature. Also, shouldn't Motherboard's memory be backed up? If they are so dedicated to protecting her, her memory only existing on one chip is a huge oversight. Get that shit on the cloud. Surprisingly, Hacker got pretty far with this plan. His rocket full of magnetite launched, and the kids grab onto it to take it down as it shoots through cyberspace. Digit gives the kids these helmets, so apparently when they aren't on the surface of a cyber site and just in the vacuum of cyberspace, these kids could not breathe. And Digit just so happened to have helmets that provided oxygen. Digit reroutes this rocket in a very rushed way. It felt like they didn't realize that the episode was ending so soon. And they dumped the magnetite all over the Grim Reaper. And Hacker's ship, get this, also had an allergic reaction. I am no closer to figuring out what's happening. In fact, I think I know less than ever. In Season 3's Be Reasonable, Hacker trapped the librarian and our heroes in a room that's flooding. But using the power of logic, our heroes put this teleporter back together, escape, stop Hacker from getting all the books, from the motherboard vault of the library. Somehow there's all this information on how to take down motherboard all in one place. And Hacker knows this. How? When Hacker flipped sides, did they not bother changing the location of this insider knowledge? I just feel like there's too many ways to take down motherboard, especially with the team of people she has behind her that dedicate their lives to making sure she's not taken down. Surely one of them could have seen that Hacker knew too much. The episode ends with the kids using the teleporter on Hacker and the henchmen, which scrambled their bodies together. Very unstable tech.
That's what I like about cyberspace. Anything's possible.
The first two-part special was in Season 3, The Snellfoo Snafu. In the beginning, we see Dr. Marbles find the encryptor chip. This storyline has been going on for so long. I wrote here in my notes, by the end of the special, they better actually get that shit back. Because Dr. Marbles is an inventor and not an adventurer, the moment he finds it, it is once again taken from him and put up for auction. The evil little auctioneer won't tell our heroes where he got the encryptor chip from, so Dr. Marbles' integrity is briefly questioned.
Cyborgs have been known to switch sides, you know.
Distrust in certain cyber species feels a bit problematic. Also, that Slider, we'll talk about him more in a bit. For the kids to get the encryptor chip back, they have to save up cyber currency, which are called Snellfoos. Great name. I thought there'd be a metallic rainbow shine to them, something a bit techno there, but it's just regular money. Gross. Our heroes work like hell to make 500 Snellfoos and swoop in as the auction ends. They beat Hacker for it, but there's still no Dr. Marbles in sight. Hacker also did this concerning little chuckle, and there's a whole ass part 2 we haven't gotten to yet. The encryptor chip the auctioneer sold them was a fake. When they put it into motherboard, this terrifying mother hacker appears, genuinely menacing and upsetting. This visual had such an emotional impact on so many viewers. This is the face of the scary moments in cyberspace page of TV tropes. Is this your worst nightmare come true or what? Yes, it is! They're terrified. Whoever wrote this page is shitting their pants, perhaps. Motherboard, of course, wasn't completely erased. She's just in a type of cyber jail, locked away in a zip file. Cute use of computer terms there. A zip file only opens when someone on the outside clicks it, so inside she is powerless. In the end, after this wild goose chase that only ends because Hacker couldn't afford to dump the real encryptor chip into a black hole, Digit risks his life for the encryptor chip to save Motherboard. And sure, Motherboard is back, but to reboot her system and release her from the zip file, the healing properties of the encryptor chip vanish.
I can unzip Motherboard and reboot her through a back door.
That's what she said.
But the encryptor chip will be destroyed in the process.
Why? Honestly, at this point, they worked so hard for the encryptor chip, I would have exhausted all other options before destroying it. Like, can't Dr. Marbles study it for a while? Can't Motherboard chill in that zip file for a few more days? Maybe the kids can act as Dr. Marbles' bodyguard since he can't defend himself for shit? He's this genius inventor we keep hyping up. Why can't he just make another one? This is the plot of CYBERCHASE, and this would be the plot of CYBERCHASE if Dr. Marbles had a gun. The one major show of Motherboard's power was in Season 4, Episode 6, A Change of Art. Throughout the series, Motherboard is the only one that can summon portals, but Hacker accidentally stumbles into this ability himself. Hacker was honestly trying to redeem himself by finding a different passion through art and sculpting. Still clearly ego-driven, as he is making giant statues of himself, but like, who am I to judge? Look at these pictures of me in the back. Yes, it didn't start as a devious plot. Through the encouragement of his therapist, he was actually trying to steer himself away from evil, until he realized he was using portal particles in his statues. So Hacker was briefly able to teleport between those statues, teleporting to every cyber site with ease. Once Motherboard found out, this is the only time we've seen her outside of a screen, and holy shit, look at how huge she is compared to the Grim Reaper. A giant woman! Her giant head is just floating in this portal. I knew she was on another plane of existence, but it never even occurred to me that she could move around in the portals. And she creates the portals. She is everywhere and nowhere. And once again, if I didn't mention it enough, look how big she is. She could have eaten Hacker. She shuts down all of Hacker's portals just by saying she will, and then zaps his ass back to exile. She could have done that the whole time, and this is while she's sick with the virus? I was starting to think maybe she'll start to hold her own. But in the very next episode, The Case of the Missing Memory, Motherboard invited every villain but Hacker over to chat. I don't know how she expected this to go over. Someone turned off the lights and stole her memory, obviously.
I remember now. It was all Wicked's doing. The squeal ate the power cord, causing the blackout. In the dark, it removed the memory integrator and swallowed it.
I know this happened quickly, but she saw all of that happen and didn't say anything. Oh, Wicked Witch's pin came to life and is coming to eat part of my brain. It's a good thing I can see in the dark, but it sucks I can't say anything until it's too late, you know. For reasons. I work in mysterious ways. And mysterious ways is right. Let's talk about Motherboard in that portal again. A place more virtual than cyberspace itself. My ears started ringing when I heard this line in the episode of Tikiville Turkey Day.
Hey, Didge, you're a bird. How do you build a nest?
How would I know? I've only built virtual nests.
But isn't that a virtual nest? When he says virtual nest, I picture Digit sitting at a computer like the one Motherboard is usually on, dragging a cursor with a mouse, and building a non-physical to him nest. Cyberspace is supposed to be made up of online worlds, but there's even softer software. There's the internet and the inner internet. The internet for the cyber creatures in the cyber world. An internet just for the bots. Dead internet theory.
Attention everyone, run for your lives! Robots have taken over the world! Our world!
Remember how I ranted about how random relics and characters are super overpowered for no reason? The most egregious example of this is in Season 5's Fairy Borg Father. Delete gets a bunch of wishes from this fairy named Zanko. We never see Zanko again after this episode, but with the little screen time he has, Delete wishes everyone was a bunny, and that includes Motherboard. And this isn't a case of just one guy being OP. Fairy Borg Father is a species. These cyber fairies are granted to different people, and they grant their wishes. That's a lot of power. There's a whole Fairy Borg Father program. There's an organization. We only hear about it during an end gag about how Hacker isn't eligible to get a Fairy Borg Father. The one other time we see a Fairy Borg Father is in Season 6's Unhappily Ever After. The fairy tale cyber site's king wished for his kingdom to only be full of happily ever afters, and the fairy used his magic to seal all the bad endings away in this box. So this kind of explains the Pandora's box and other relics. It could be from wishes gone awry. They weren't necessarily invented by computer scientists. This is completely separate from humans. This is magical cyber creatures' own doing. It is absurd how powerful and magical this world is, while also dealing with self-inflicted glitches that Dr. Marble should definitely be investing more time into fixing. There's a certain level of maintenance, but instead of going to the doctor for checkups, Digit instead has to sync up his system using the crystal syncrometer. Motherboard is the one to notice that Digit is acting strangely, so this giant crystal gets him back into sync so he's no longer loopy. The weirdest thing is that once his syncrometer is back to normal, Digit didn't even remember his day. He completely blacked out that mania.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good!
Digit!
Thank goodness
you're
okay.
Earthlies, what are you doing here?
You mean you don't remember getting lost in the cave?
Being trapped in a dark hole? Almost costing Jules his job?
Actually, no. But I do know I gotta get back to Motherboard.
Does every cyborg need that tune-up? Is this yearly or monthly? This is the only time it's mentioned. They'll throw giant curveballs at our face, and as we're searching for answers on the floor, they sit on us. What? The season 5 episode Inside Hacker starts so abruptly. Matt is already shrunk down and inside Hacker. We have never seen them talk about this plan. We didn't see Matt get shrunk down, and this shrink ray was never mentioned before. So I thought I unknowingly stumbled into a part 2 or watched something out of order. But no, we're just plopped right in the middle of this plot. Matt's mission is to replace Hacker's H drive, his heart drive. They believe this will make Hacker a good guy again. This implies something corrupted his old H drive, and it's weird that it's never addressed. Plus, they actually succeed in their plan, and Hacker is briefly nice until the H drive pops out. If it falls out this easily, Hacker's whole system is unstable. That's a manufacturing error. This sounds fucked up, but I believe Marbles put him together wrong. I'm telling you, I don't know how or why, but everything goes back to Dr. Marbles being a bad inventor. It just seems like he's the one that made many of these creatures, and he should be taking a much more active approach in fixing everything. He's barely seen, and every time he is, his only priority is Motherboard. Maybe Motherboard would be safer if you actually fixed Hacker instead of diminishing his energy and banishing him. Dr. Marbles is a loser. And so am I, apparently. Blue-eyed Athena forgot to film this chunk of the script because she couldn't see, so I hope Motherboard's absolute ass decision-making can be chalked up to the hack attacks weakening her, because I just continue to question her competence as a leader. In the season 5 finale, A Fraction of a Chance, Motherboard once again has a meeting with the Wicked Witch, her second biggest enemy that we'll talk about in a second. Motherboard tells Wicked she can't own 2/3 of cyberspace, and then ends the conversation with, well, that settles it, as if the witch won't retaliate. This show is all about math, and yet there's no pattern recognition. I get it's just to keep the story going, but binging this show is just asking to be rage baited. Wicked Witch then uses her wand to blast and destroy part of Motherboard's hardware. This is while the kids were going through the vortex to get back home, and now they're stuck in the vortex and vanishing like an Avengers hero getting Thanos snapped. Motherboard? I don't feel very good. Well, neither do I. Good luck, dipshits. We have seen Motherboard in portals. Can she not just appear in the vortex? I'm trying to make it make sense. So maybe it's because this portal is between universes and not just between cyber sites? Why is it up to Digit, Motherboard? For the love of you, do something. Anything! Dr. Marbles found yet another cure for Motherboard in season 6's Step by Step, and for goddamn once he has security. This recurring character named Ivanka is protecting him because she's a ghost and Hacker is afraid of ghosts. So there's an afterlife in cyberspace. Cool! Is this what happens when you're uploaded to the cloud? Cyber heaven? Hacker captures Marbles regardless and goes after the new cure, which is Magmalux. Like most things in this terribly designed universe, it is a double-edged sword. Magmalux can cure the virus, but it can also delete Motherboard. Digit grabs Magmalux from the volcano before Hacker gets there, and Digit uses this opportunity to free the ghost and scare Hacker away again. This entire time, the children are tasked with saving Marbles. Riddle me this. Why? They know the volcano will erupt, so why wouldn't they save Marbles after they collect the Magmalux? Digit was stretched too thin. By the end of the episode, the Magmalux was destroyed, and Dr. Marbles says it'll take eons for them to form again. Hey, quick observation, buddy. Doesn't your girlfriend have a time machine? Why are you jumping to finding a brand new cure when the solution is right in front of you? I have a theory. This dude does not want to fix Motherboard. He wants her to beg for a cure forever because it makes him feel useful and wanted while offering absolutely nothing to society. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm giving up on the context, dude. I don't know how you blue-eyed motherfuckers do it. Oh my god.
Who are you people?
We meet Slider in Season 3's The Borg of the Ring. He's a boy around their age, so Jackie and Inez immediately think he's cute. Slider's introduction was amusing because Matt was bugging the whole time.
Name's Slider.
I'm Jackie, that's Inez, Matt, and Digit.
Enough with the intros.
I'm the boy. I'm the friend boy. Matt is so obviously jealous. Digit just has to roast him.
I think you're cute, Maddie.
Whatever.
Devastating. And to give Matt less of a chance against this possible robo-boy, Slider also has a tragic backstory. Hacker made Slider's dad disappear. Matt, quick! Tell them a sad story from the farm! Matt, you're losing them! Matt! From this point on, almost all the Slider episodes are shitbait. In Season 3's The Creature Who Would Be Crowned, Matt really pissed off Inez by making fun of the big word she uses. Jackie also joins for half a second, and that was Inez's final straw. Inez befriends Creech and refuses to talk to Jackie and Matt. High stakes forces our friend group together again, and what's higher stakes than quicksand? Everything is platonic as shit until the end of the episode, where out of nowhere Matt gives Inez this dinosaur plush she's always wanted that we never heard about until now. This kid's charisma, after being a jerk 70% of the time, is his secret weapon.
This was very thoughtful of you, Matt.
Hey, I'm an immensely thoughtful and considerate person.
You already know we forgive and forget. I'm Matt, thoughtful and empathetic as shit to my friend girls.
I'll help you.
What do you say fuck me for?
In the two-part special, The Snellfoo Snafu, Slider makes a totally cool and admirable sacrifice. This stupid GPS his father gave him was used and destroyed to track down the encryptor chip. That was also destroyed. All of these devices only have a one-time use, not planned obsolescence in the cyber world. Motherboard comes first and Slider's daddy board comes second. The most confusing thing to come out of this episode is Slider said that thing about cyborgs.
Cyborgs have been known to switch sides, you know.
But then in the very end of the episode, he ran away, not even bothering to talk to the goddess he saved, and she said this.
How brave of that young cyborg.
So he's a cyborg? I thought this would be foreshadowing. A villain arc for him would be way more riveting than just being there to rage bait Matt. Speaking of, Matt's nickname for Inez from the start is Nezzy, and she hates it every time. Don't call me Nezzy! But Slider calls her Nezzy, and she doesn't fight it, saying it's different coming from him.
How come it's okay for Slider to call you Nezzy, and not me?
Well, he's different.
Different? How?
He is fourth-wheeling in his OG trio. Is there a non-sexual version of the word cucked? Bro was hornswoggled, devastatingly so. Most of Slider's storyline was completed in the first half of Season 4. It's revealed in the episode Past Perfect Prediction that Slider's dad, Coop, used to work with Hacker, back when Hacker was a good guy. We see a flashback that must have been not as far back in time, because this is the first one not in black and white. Coop saw when Hacker began his evil ways. Hacker and Coop worked on the blueprint for the Transformatron. The Transformatron can change anyone or anything to whatever they desire. When Coop realized that Hacker wanted to use this device to destroy cyberspace, he ripped up the blueprint and scattered the pieces. So littering when you could have just burned them or put them in the forever gone machine, or just shredded the damn thing better. Look at these giant chunks, what an idiot. Damn it, I wrote you this note, but now it's ripped, so you can't read it. You'll never know what it says. The build-up for this machine was pretty great because Hacker was collecting ingredients throughout the season. An eel from aquarium. Yeah, that slug. Apparently this eel is the backup energy source. Conveniently not mentioned till now. Hacker also takes this pedestal thing from the penguin world. So why did Coop run away? Well, we see an even longer flashback in the episode A Measure for Measure. Before that flashback plays, Slider reunites with his dad, but he's mad because his dad is old now.
I guess you don't recognize me, son.
Son? Don't call me that. You're not Coop. My dad's not old like you.
Old man still knew their handshake, so now they have an emotional embrace. Even though he's old.
Ew.
Now for the flashback. He's stupidly ripping up that paper again. And then a few days later, Hacker poisons the dude with magnetite. Magnetite is brought back. Coop's reaction isn't breaking out in hives or memory loss. It's rapidly aging. Gross. So Slider and his father really are cyborgs. Now that I look at them more closely, their eyes are squares. Their pupils are square. A feature Dr. Marbles' girlfriend Lady Lovelace does not have. I swear she's a human, dude. Anyway, the dad ran away to find a cure for the magnetite exposure. With how bad his son reacted to his old-ass face, I see why he ran away and was looking for a cure. He did successfully make a cure because in this same episode, his son Slider is hit with the magnetite, which made his feet grow. You're not my son. My son doesn't have giant, gross-ass clown feet. The combination of chemicals his dad concocted cured his clown feet, but by the end, his dad is still old. I guess they didn't prioritize bringing Coop back to normal because Hacker was destroying everything in sight after using the Transformatron to turn into a giant. He's flipping buildings, just being a menace. At first, I assumed Hacker's plans always had to do with Motherboard specifically, but he is just as dedicated to upsetting as many people as possible. We didn't see Motherboard for this entire arc. The whole thing was really rushed. We saw that they reversed the aging off-screen in Season 5's A Clean Sweep, and that entire episode made no sense. Dude was hit with the magnetite again, but instead of aging, he fell asleep. What happened? It's not like they got a different strain of magnetite. It still made Hacker and the Grim Reaper break out in hives. Why did Coop's reaction all of a sudden change? Did I miss something? And the reversal of magnetite's effects this time was way easier. They just removed the magnetite. They didn't need a potion anymore. This poison is so inconsistent, I'm over the whole magnetite thing. The villains aren't even trying to use it against Motherboard anymore. Who gives a shit about Radopolis?
Listen, I just want to say that I'm...
You don't have to say anything.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Slider. The context of this is even funnier because Matt was being an asshole the whole episode. He was complaining about wanting to run the relay race even though he's a better swimmer. So this wasn't even like Slider was gonna apologize for doing anything wrong. This was just him trying to talk some sense into Matt, only for Matt to cut him off. I just think that... I'll stop you right there. No one cares what you think. I already figured it out. I'm gonna swim, but know this. Jackie and Inez are my friend girls, and you're just a bucket of bolts. Toaster looking ass. Wicked Witch's debut was in Season 1, Episode 8, and they counted happily ever after. She hates her home of the fairy tale world and wants everyone there to be miserable. She proposes teaming up with Hacker and even jerks his chin a little bit. Elfreak, goddamn. Hacker ends up betraying her. Instead of kidnapping the king of the fairy tale land so she can be queen there, he decides he'd rather trade the king back for golden eggs. Even in jail, Wicked loves how diabolical Hacker is. She has a big old crush on him. Even after she gets revenge on Hacker, she rejects the king's proposal to her to chase after Hacker, which from a villain standpoint is very stupid. She could have been queen and played the long game. In episode 9, we see Hacker refuse to trade Wicked Witch as a prisoner in exchange for Dr. Marbles. He even looks at a picture of them in a photo booth together as they talk about her. So he likes her back. If his reaction to that chin stroke wasn't confirmation enough. Wicked Witch is seen again in Season 1, Episode 22. And Girly has pipes. She almost burst through Fairy Tale Land's new force field with a high note just to help Hacker break in. But she was pulled off the stage with a hook when they caught on to the plan. Wicked Witch joins Hacker's team for the majority of Season 2, and they have a very on-again, off-again relationship. But she is at the center of all his best plans. For example, she's the one who made Motherboard mean and green. At the end of the episode, after Hacker undermines her, she puts a spell on Hacker to make him nice. Buzz and Delete make sure to film him for blackmail purposes. In Season 2's The Wedding Scammer, the Wicked Witch pretends to be the long-lost Princess of Pompadoria, and she and Hacker almost get married, giving them all the Pompadourian power. But the kids freed the real princess before she could get away with it and before the two of them tied the knot. For whatever reason, she lied to Hacker about being the real princess as well. She didn't let him in on this evil plan. Very odd, would he not have went along with the plan? We do see Hacker's fear of commitment this episode.
But Hacky Poo! We could still be a happy couple!
Oh my god, the way she grovels. Girly, this is embarrassing. She disappears for a bit, but then in the two-part special, Snellfoo Snafu, she once again begs to be his partner. Stand up! He eventually agrees, and while I think having a magical girlfriend is a huge plus, I was so fed up with Hacker, like, dude, you need all the help you can get, why are you fighting her? This episode does do a great job of showing her shortcomings and ways that she would actually harm Hacker's cause. She is so giddy redecorating, buying a new wardrobe, buying jewels. She spends all their money. Not a Snellfoo in sight. And it wasn't a small amount either. She burned through 1 million Snellfoos. This is why Hacker couldn't destroy the real encryptor chip. It was Wicked's fault. This is where their relationship can never fully recover. She was my partner. An on-screen breakup. We see Wicked as a magical professor in the very next episode. And this could have been a cool character moment, but she uses this as leverage for Hacker to get back together with her. This is where I was starting to get a little bored with her. She was making me cringe with how desperate she was for Hacker. Surely there are more evil bachelors. Get a grip!
Get a grip!
But I loved her plan in the episode A Broom of One's Own. She sold broomsticks that zap the power out of other electronic devices, and through this plan she also gained a mind-controlled army. Hacker was so jealous that even though they have the same goal, he was trying to take her down, and she hexed his ass. Fingers crossed this is the end of her begging for him back. Interestingly enough, season 5 opens with Hacker begging for her back. Wow. Then he tries to make her jealous by sending her a picture of him with the journalist Erica? Bro, they're so toxic. Someone make an edit to them to the tune of Britney Spears' Toxic. Too late, I already did. With a taste of your chin, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under. The end of this episode reveals that Wicked Witch is going out with Prince Charming and laughed right in Hacker's face. Tracking the ups and downs of this relationship was a much bigger undertaking than I thought it would be, because guess what? It's still going. No! She breaks up with Prince Charming off screen. Dude never even got a line and we never see him again. In the episode Designing Mr. Perfect, her talking wand, Wanda, that we've never seen before and never see again, convinces Wicked to simply build a man. While Wanda the tutu-wearing wand is out looking for a frog to snatch for this unethical transformation, she accidentally grabbed Digit instead. So we get to see the nightmare fuel of muscly 6'2" alpha Digit about to marry the Wicked Witch. This bizarre episode did affect Digit and Wicked's relationship moving forward, with her even calling him handsome in the season 5 finale. They have a little bit of banter. Here's another iconic moment from that episode.
Listen, I don't mean to intrude, but we don't have a lot of time for chit-chat. So tell us what you want and let us go!
All right, I'll get it over with.
I missed you.
You miss me?
Not you!
I love that Digit was genuinely confused, flattered, and uncomfortable all at the same time. Digit has extreme daddy issues. Relatable king. He has a tendency to insult Hacker out of nowhere and then get an unnatural amount of joy from hitting him where it hurts. That's why Wicked flirting with essentially Hacker's son is so funny. Girly is messy, but Wicked and Hacker are still on again, off again, and in a disgusting turn of events, in the season 6 episode A Perfect Score, Hacker tries to beat Wicked and her new boyfriend in a dance competition, kidnapping Inez to force Jackie to dance with him. I'm gonna quote Jackie's iconic catchphrase here, because there's never been a more appropriate time. Ew, ew, double ew! I know dancing isn't inherently romantic. That's not the takeaway. It's the dancing with a child to beat your ex and kidnapping another child to force another child into dancing with you. Hacker! This is a lot even for you. We meet Professor Archimedes in the episode Eureka. He was the one who made the encryptor chip. But the episode order is very confusing. We see the origin of this invention and it ending up in the pyramid after they already lost it at the pyramid. Still interesting to know that it wasn't actually a Dr. Marvel's invention like everything else is. Also in this episode, Professor Archimedes said that to escape Hacker, he had to go in the second dimension.
Activate the emergency defense system.
Retreat into 2 dimensions?
But you've never gone flat before. It's the only way to deny the hacker.
So I thought we'd see a flattened design, but instead he just disappears. The kids have to bring him back by making a 3D shape out of 2D shapes. It's giving the same energy as putting the lifeless letters together to create living things in Word World. Like, did he cease to exist? Was he just these inanimate parts before reassembly? We meet Sleight O' Hand in the Season 2 episode Guilty Party. Everyone accuses him of stealing because he's a magician that pretends to be a pickpocket. Weird bit. Choose another bit. Literally the only reason Motherboard is vouching for him is because he's Dr. Marbles' nephew. How? This bitch is built like a triangular prism. Why didn't they make this guy Professor Archimedes' nephew? Even the wiki agrees with me. Not only are these 2 3-dimensional shape people, but they also are the only 2 characters to have Irish accents. Dr. Marbles is overhyped. Can we please learn about any other character? We meet Ledge in the Season 8 episode Hackerized. Our heroes run into him in Sensible Flats, where a thick gas is turning everyone into hacker versions of themselves. Green, big-chinned, and rude. What's really creepy about this gas is that it also affects the humans. Look at this cursed, hacker-esque Matt and Jackie. But we gotta talk more about Ledge, because he was a twist villain. He's the one that made the Hackerizer machine, and wants to join Hacker's evil team. Because Inez turned off Ledge's machine, Hacker rejected the boy. Which is rich coming from him. I mean, how many times do they stop Hacker? We'll get him every time. But Ledge's design intrigues me even more than anything else. Non-geometric human nose, non-square eyes. Someone even let their headcanon slip into the wiki, categorizing him as cyberhuman. Let's look at Ledge's only other speaking role appearance before I share my theories. In the very next episode, the finale of Season 8, Ledge is seen again vowing to take Hacker down. Let's just say Hacker pushed him over the ledge. Ledge wants to take over cyberspace himself, and even hires Buzz and Delete after Hacker fires them. Even though he's a brand new villain, Ledge is seen as more of a threat by Motherboard herself, to the point where Motherboard encourages the kids to team up with Hacker. Now, what sense does that make? Like a lot of the things in the series, we just gotta go with it. Both teams follow clues to find this bluebird-shaped remote. Hacker invented this remote control back when he was good. This device can restore Motherboard's memory. These hints take us to Groundhogia, a cyber site we've never been to before that's so irrelevant, the wiki has nothing to say about it. It's a whole cyber site dedicated to Groundhog's Day. We meet a cyber groundhog named Punksy, a reference to the real Groundhog's Day groundhog Puxatawny Phil that I only know about because of the TikTok musical about him. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you care about any of that?
You can have the fame of Phyllis.
And do I even have to say it? The remote gets destroyed by the end of the episode. Anything that can help Motherboard gets destroyed. Always. So I personally think this Ledge is a cyber clone. A digital copy. I think the real Ledge is a human with a headset on. This kid is so human-like, and the joy he gets from being bad just reads as a teen playing a video game, driving on the wrong side of the road in GTA because, haha, it's not real. I think they need to add this layer of other humans interacting with cyberspace in a completely different way because they don't think it's real. The CYBERCHASE movie sucked. We open on Dr. Marbles with a dramatically long beard because he's been working on the cure for so long. Just like every other time Hacker locates Marbles, he kidnaps him and goes after what he's working on.
I knew I could count on you to do my work for me.
Yup. Even Hacker's aware of it. This happens every time. And Marbles takes no precautionary measures. Write in code. Make a decoy of yourself so that can be taken instead of you. Make a clone of yourself to finish the work after you get kidnapped because you seemingly love being a victim so much. Use your girlfriend's time machine. Do anything. There's so many unexplored options because Dr. Marbles is not as smart as everyone says he is. Either that, or he really enjoys this 20-year-long back and forth. And Marbles made Hacker, right? Hear me out. These two are like the Nowhere King and General from Centaur World. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? In this movie, we meet Abby and her son Ollie, who live in Ecotopia to take care of all the cyber animals. Ecotopia, not to be confused with Ecohaven, is a cyber site we haven't seen until the movie. Also not to be confused with Season 11's Jungletopia, even though they all kind of feel like the same place. I think they honestly stopped keeping track of their own themes. The special is 50 minutes long, and Inez doesn't show up for the first 20 minutes. When she finally does show up, the movie revolves around her because Ollie has a crush on her. Because they both wear glasses. Snooze fest! Kid, your mom has been kidnapped by the hacker. Respectfully, we don't have time for this. The one cool thing about this movie is we get to see what a cyber site looks like when someone reprograms it. Ollie has a preserve pad, very similar to the SKWAK pad, but it looks like a bird's wing, fitting the nature theme of this cyber site. Ollie was able to reprogram Ecotopia through the preserve pad. The movie ends with Inez putting a safety lock on the reset button so Hacker doesn't reset cyberspace. And then Inez and Ollie go out on a date. Ooh, ooh. What a waste of a 50-minute plot. I felt more suspense from shits I've taken. The wiki lists Ollie and his mother Abby as humans. I don't know if there's solid proof of this, it's never explicitly said, but I could totally see Motherboard recruiting humans for cyber wildlife preservation purposes.
Oh, no way! How is that still going?
Post-CyberChase movie, they keep introducing human-like children with no explanation. And if I wasn't sick of it before, I'm definitely sick of it now. In the season 10 premiere, we meet Scanner. He's here now. We never see him again. Jackie teaches him to exercise. It is literally my job to care, and I don't. Here's where the episode baited me. Digit finds the recipe for a new encryptor chip. The kids ask where Dr. Marbles is, and Motherboard can't answer because she's so sick. At this point, why don't the kids have Marbles' contact info on their SKWAK pads? I'm losing it. They go on this adventure to gather all the ingredients. The sands of time, a clear crystal, 7 drops of spring water. They even talk to this ice wall goddess. That was awesome. And finally, the first ray of sunlight from a Solaria sunrise. They successfully get all the ingredients. Hacker fails at stopping them. They put the encryptor chip in Motherboard, and she feels better.
I'm back.
Have we finally reached true enlightenment? Is she at full power?
At last I see cyberspace as I once did.
She's so hopeful and happy. Wow, this was all worth it.
At last I can...
It was a prototype encryptor chip. It wasn't the true finished product. I fell to my knees and I wept.
Here lies hopes and dreams.
In season 10, episode 3, A Seedy Business, the cyber site of Factoria is rebuilding, learning to garden after breaking free from Hacker, who tricked them into making spy planes. Anti-industrialism, but even more than that, this season has really been encouraging healthy eating. Listen, while it's a good lesson, it is a funny 180 for this show. They're robots. What? Don't bring up the food pyramid unless we're measuring the triangle's angles or some shit. Where's the math? At least they established Digit as a chef as early as season 1, so it didn't completely come out of nowhere. Regardless, it's definitely more preachy with less creative problem solving. I will say, Zorine being a super fan of the Cyber Squad was a very funny angle.
Did you at least find out what Hacker is up to? Not really. Wow. Okay. You are my heroes. Oh, Zorine!
You know, I used to look up to you guys. I thought you were the shit. Turns out, you aren't even the fart. Big guy SpongeBob. Pants? Okay. Okay. The early seasons aren't better because I grew up with them. The early seasons are better because they're better. We see Slider once again, and now he's talking about the importance of drinking water and what it means to sweat. I thought Slider wasn't a human. Guys, in this day and age, could we, say which characters are human and which one are robots, and stop making the robots so damn human. By episode 3 of season 11, we have yet another new cyber site. This is Mermaidos. Not to be confused with Aquarium, they have completely different mermaid designs. These Mermaidos ones look more like seahorses. They had to make another underwater world outside of Aquarium because while Aquarium is a floating fishbowl in the sky, Mermaidos is next to land, which fits the plot of the episode better. Hacker wants to make Mermaidos his hot tub to teach the lesson of respect nature. The stupidest example of them forcing Earth logic onto cyberspace is in the season 11 episode Plantosaurus. The kids are having a sleepover at Motherboard's. Motherboard is under the weather even more than usual, Digit is also sneezing, and then all of a sudden the kids start to feel ill as well. In Digit's room they feel better. Why? Because the potted plant is getting rid of the new paint and furniture pollutants. I'm sorry, what?
You see, plants breathe in the pollutants. At the same time, they breathe in carbon dioxide from the air around us. Then they give off nice, clean oxygen.
No. I'm sorry. No! One thing I used to praise about this show is how distinct they made cyberspace. Now, it and the human world are just one and the same. Down to the way they breathe, down to the way plants work. You're telling me the kids are getting sick from the same toxins that are affecting Digit and Motherboard, who exists on a totally different plane? Go back to exclusively teaching math. I'm fed up. In Invasion of the Funky Flower, Hacker's evil plan is to bring an invasive species to Gardania after he lost a flower contest. Did Bro become a Wildcrats villain? In season 12's Soil Turmoil, the kids even shrink down to visit this bug town. I was half expecting them to call the shrink machine the miniaturizer, with how much they were encroaching on Wildcrats' property. That's not all. In the season 13 premiere, the kids are seen with these mechanical wings to help them fly with the ducks.
Where I come from, that's copyright infringement! Copyright infringement!
In the season 11 finale, we see Canalia, a cyber site with a bunch of canals, of course. The water is going down in the canals. The solution this episode is so convoluted when it doesn't have to be. We meet this kid, Pearl, who built a time machine to prove to everyone that the water level has went down. And they act like this is the first time they've seen a time machine. It is not. Lady Lovelace also has a time machine, it's just never used. Have I complained about that enough? Once again, no one thinks to save the encryptor chip, or Magma Lux, or the thousands of other things that could have saved Motherboard throughout these seasons. It is insulting. They could have saved her, and then dedicated the rest of this series to helping cyber sites. But part of me wonders if the kids did restore Motherboard to full health, would she even need them anymore? Would she finally be able to do the work they've been doing this whole time? The season 12 premiere is another unjustified two-parter. It didn't need double the runtime. There's a bunch of trash in cyberspace that isn't properly disposed of. A lot of it was picked up by the wind. I'm not saying this wouldn't be a problem for them. What I am saying is they have a forever gone machine and a whole cyber site dedicated to their trash that not a single character mentioned in this episode. Not once in this 45 minutes. They could have dismissed it with a throwaway line. Like, oh, the forever gone machine and Discardia are at max capacity. They didn't bother doing that. They figure anyone that was watching those seasons have outgrown the show, so continuity doesn't matter, but they didn't account for my annoying ass. Let me voice a character that's the leader of Plotholia. In my headcanon, Hacker caused amnesia throughout cyberspace, and Plotholia is the only area unaffected. My character's whole thing is being a historian of bullshit, saying, wait, you don't remember that? You really don't remember that? Am I the only one that remembers Discardia? But what angers me the most, hold on, in these later seasons, they randomly swap out this iconic SKWAK pad for what looks like a regular iPhone. Disgusting.
Where's the love?
A really cute episode was Housewarming Party. It was the millionth time Hacker threw Buzz and Delete out like they were nothing. This time, Hacker accused them of a crime he committed, and they were thrown in fairy tale jail. But something different about this time is that Hacker felt genuine remorse, and he really missed his friends.
You miss Buzz and Delete, don't you?
Miss who?
those dunce buckets!
What? Never!
Then why are you drawing a picture of them?
This episode even proved that he'd choose his boys over Wicked any day.
I'm just too old to be chasing young hot tail. My true love is my work. And more importantly, my boys.
What is going on with Hacker? Season 12's Giving Thanks Day opened with this shot, and I was convinced this was on Earth on Matt's family farm, but nope, this is cyberspace. This is cornucopia. No one on the wiki bothered to say anything about this place, because there's nothing to say. Cyber sites just look indistinguishable from Earth now. In Giving Thanks Day, we see Hacker's niece, Harmony, for the first time, and he is so cute with her.
I'm happy!
Me too, me too, me too!
Who is his sibling that has a kid? And also, wait, he's still a good guy deep down? This is the softest we've ever seen him. Also, walk with me here. I've seen bad guy with niece so much, it has to be a trope. It feels like they're really amping up for a Hacker redemption arc.
You're saying my secret admirer is not wicked after all, but the two of you?
Actually, it's rather sweet. Oh, come here, you little goofballs.
Something else that happens this episode that flashes so quickly in the background I almost missed it. They have a Thanks Day parade, and look at this float. A float of Dr. Marbles' big head. Hey, when's the last time we saw that guy? It's been 18 episodes, and at this point, I was wondering, wait, is he never coming back? I thought I was being dramatic, but guys, he never comes back. He's only in one flashback. With how high of a pedestal they put him on, and the fact that he's even in the theme song, you'd think he'd be utilized more. But honestly, he's more mythic than Motherboard is. In the second to last episode, we see his face as a kite for a kite flying contest where the theme is heroes, but I think he should fly a kite. In the episode Hacker Hugs a Tree, we see how important this forest in the northern frontier is to him. After Hacker was exiled, the trees were his only friends. When the influencer villain Zusk threatens to chop down the trees in his forest, Hacker breaks down. I'm telling you, my anti-Marbles opinions have only gotten stronger with time. Hacker only fully committed to villainy after he felt abandoned. All these most recent seasons just proved he wasn't too far gone to get help, unpack some of the jealousy and resentment he felt towards his mother. So the last time we ever saw Dr. Marbles was in a flashback in the episode Composting in the Clutch. This is the biggest lore drop we had in a hot second. Hacker and Dr. Marbles worked on this invention called the Proliferator together. The Proliferator is capable of reprogramming Motherboard if her operating system were to fail, meaning if she ever fully dies, they can bring her back. Does Motherboard want to live forever? I would have loved to see verbal confirmation of that. This is so intense. I also didn't realize that Hacker was sitting on such a great plan this whole time. What do you mean you misplaced the map that leads to arguably the most destructive weapon? You know what this has the same vibe as?
What's this?
What is it, boss?
Something that will enable me to take control of Motherboard.
I've exhausted every evil plan in my filing cabinet. From A to Y.
A to Y?
Yeah, A to Y, you know, the alphabet.
What about Z?
Z? W, X, Y, Z. Plan Z, here it is!
How does this slip your mind? He even forgot the password. Love that he tries Big Wig 2002 first. 2002? Like when the show started. Cute. The year they're presumably stuck in. Once the Cyber Squad realizes Hacker has this very destructive device, they split up. Inez and Digit go to stop Hacker, while Matt, Jackie, and this random character are busy making soil so that the cyber baseball game isn't canceled. Whoa, they really don't give a shit about Motherboard. From here on out, we start meeting the Cyber Squad's family members. What else can you do after 100 episodes? I don't know, maybe help Motherboard? In Season 12's Missing Bats and Sensible Flats, We meet Digit's cousin Bridget. She's pink, of course she is. Her nostrils are way closer to her eyes because the girlie doesn't have any wrinkles. Her whole design confuses me. We start to see the human families season 13 and beyond, but especially in seasons 14 and 15. They threw this right here at the end because the kids have been spending so much time in cyberspace. We needed a reminder that they didn't completely abandon their Earth lives. In the episode Hacker's Bright Idea, we get a flashback of Matt and his pop-pop. They're stargazing and the interaction only lasts a few seconds, but we get so much information about this guy.
Well, that's a constellation, a group of stars that form a pattern that look just like something you know.
I could lie here and look at them all night, Papa. They're like good friends.
Oh, good friends indeed, Maddie. When I was in the Navy, they taught us how to use the stars to navigate.
Natural, seamless, and smooth. Reminds me of the time me and Uncle Skidly Bop went ice skating. I'm a plumber, by the way. Okay. I'm really glad I remembered that. The ending heavily implied that Pop Pop is dead by having Matt thank him, looking up at the sky, but he's fully not. We see him, Matt's grandma, and Matt's mom in a very special Mother's Day. In the episode Cleanup on Aisle 8, we see Inez's cat.
That old microscope has to be under here somewhere, Gatito.
A cat named Kitten is very cute. We met him back in season 1, though. In this episode, we also meet her little brother, Leon, for the first time. And in a flashback, we see her mother and her abuela. I'm imagining the Smash Bros. New character, but it keeps being cut off by a new character. They're throwing so many new characters at us. And I wish I cared more. I just love cyberspace. Look at this Robo Whale's design. Bolt says barnacles. It's like they finally remembered this is CYBERCHASE. Let's have some fun. Based on the first episode of season 14, I think time in cyberspace moves a lot faster than on Earth. The kids had a full day of cyberspace beach cleanup where the sun is setting, but when Inez got home, we have this transition wipe where the sky is a much lighter blue. It's like not much time passed at all since Inez left. In the episode Trees Please, we see Inez's little sister Camila and her father. This episode mostly takes place on Earth. Inez proposes to her neighborhood why they should plant trees in this empty lot, while her sister wants a new skate park. And guess what? They both win. A skate park with trees. In the first few seconds of the two-part season 14 finale, Whether or Not, we meet Jackie's whole family. Her mom, her dad, her grandma Jeannie, her uncle Jamie, and her cousins Jared and Jordan. Love that her family coordinated all these J names. Except for the dog Brandy. She has another dog, Junie, who the wiki describes as Jackie's other dog in all caps. Why are they screaming at me about this? You know a show has been going on for too long when we have Meet the Family posts that end with like and share. Inez's sister is bold, daring, and confident. Like and share. Jordan wants to prove that he's a big kid. His hobbies include reading, dancing, and playing with the family dog Junie. Like and share. Uncle Jamie runs 2 restaurants and a food truck. Like and share. Did someone say they want 15 more seasons? Full of family fun and little to no math? What everyone watched the series for? This episode confirms how fast time moves in cyberspace. Jackie runs upstairs to grab a sweater before dinner is served. She goes on a whole adventure in cyberspace, a 2-part one at that, returns home, and dinner is just being served. So at least one of my questions was answered. The season 14 finale is all about climate change, and you'll never guess how this thick smog in cyberspace started. It's because the hacker needed to be more green, so he kept spray tanning himself, essentially. Once again, the main plot nor the family shenanigans fully caught my attention. But you know what does? Was Motherboard cured off screen? Usually they're static between words, but in this episode, she's talking in full sentences. I know I sound like a broken record, but we fully lost the plot. Don't tell me that he's trying to hack the motherboard. Okay, I won't, because he's not. He's not trying to hack her anymore. It's been at least 13 episodes since he's tried to take Motherboard down. Also, why are his toes out? Why does he have baby feet? The way they get him to stop polluting in this episode is to fully appeal to his ego. They said he'll be a hero. Hacker from seasons 1 through 10 would have hated that. He wanted to be feared, but in this episode he loved the idea of being a hero. He's a full-blown softie. He even has a pet now. Her name was Lollipop, but according to the wiki, she was renamed by an Instagram campaign, and Bitterbite was the name that got the most votes. So is he officially good now? No. In the latest season, they all celebrate Hacker's birthday with him, including Motherboard, and she once again isn't staticky at all, but Hacker's first evil plan in a while was in a very special Mother's Day. And when he explains the plan to Buzz and Delete, who used to maniacally laugh with him, they are genuinely so disappointed.
I've already written the card. Dearest Motherboard, roses are red, violets are blue. On this very special day, our tender thoughts are with you. Much love.
That was so beautiful! What's that, boss?
The gift from Motherboard. I call it a hard drive destroyer.
Destroyer? That doesn't sound nice like the note does.
It's not.
I'm glad they included how shocked they are, because it did seem like he was no longer scheming. They thought he changed. So did I. But in this episode, he tried to import a hard drive destroyer. He describes this supposed attempted murder as a Mother's Day trick. Weird headcanon, but what if he was trying to heal her, but wanted to frame it as something devious by lying to her about it? I don't know. Either fully commit to the redemption arc, or give us the real reason he keeps reverting. Hacker didn't even appear in the very last episode, so I, as always, have more questions than answers.
My God, are you still talking?
I made a bingo card for the series finale. I will only do a re-explore of this show if they have a proper finale. Now, to be clear, I don't think what I want to happen will happen. I really want Dr. Marbles to be revealed as the big bad, but I really don't think they have the balls. I wanted to put that on our bingo card so badly, but after amusing myself with character dies, I knew I couldn't put anything else that will for sure not happen. Listen, all I'm saying is a series finale would be the perfect time for a character death fake out. Like, could you imagine Delete sacrificing himself for some bunnies? And his last words would be, I guess I finally live up to my name. Not a dry eye in the theater. Yeah, there'd be a theatrical release. But in all seriousness, a show with a run this long should have a finale movie. I'm talking at least an hour. I'll accept 50 minutes. Nothing shorter though. I think a really impactful final Cyber Chase for Real segment should be viewers sending in their videos. Maybe a parent who watched the TV show as a kid, now watching with their own kid, where they both talk about what they learned. How cute would that be? I think the introduction of the main characters' families is only to up the stakes of Hacker coming to Earth. I think the worlds colliding is an inevitable full circle. They also can't back out of a Hacker redemption arc, but I really want to see more flashbacks in the final season. What was his turning point? When will he realize he pretty much owns the whole northern frontier? He is the leader of a cyber site already. It's just uninhabited. If he's a nice guy, maybe more people will move there, and his only friends won't be the trees and Buzz and Delete. He just needs a proper recharge/energy source, because let's be real, he's just as sick as Motherboard is, and they can heal together. Mother and son reconciliation. Motherboard needs to realize she could have helped Hacker see the light all those years ago, if Marbles' bitch ass wasn't in the way. I show up like Steven Universe to mediate between Hacker and Motherboard. Why don't you talk to each other? Idiots. Why don't you talk to each other? Just give it a try. Do it. Why don't you talk about what happened? I know you're trying to avoid it, but I don't know why. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. We have fun here. I also do general commentary and lesser deep dives on my second channel, Athena PP the Meme Quoll. Awesome name, I know. Have a great day, everyone, and a happy new year. I demand it. Bye!